Alright, another retro review. This one is Cutthroat Island on the SNES. So then you get to see this pirate standing on a rock and these words scroll by. Here's a quick summary of what it said. There's fucking pirates and you're a fucking pirate. You, just like a lot of other pirates, are trying to find the map pieces to get to Cutthroat Island. And after that you get to the menus where you have the words Cutthroat Island but it's not the right color to match the movie's logo. Then you get to choose 1 player, 2 player, and you get to choose who you want, Morgan or Shaw. There really isn't a difference as far as I could tell, so pick whoever the hell you want. After you pick who you want, you get a little bit of story thrown in there. So the person who you did not choose helps you escape from His Majesty's prison under the condition that you help him find the treasure. Then you get some unusually spaced text from this guy with a short pike that has a gun built in. I don't get how, but that weapon he's holding right now can shoot bullets. So after he's done yelling at you, you just have to fight through about a dozen people and you get to him and he says, "You'll never make it past," and you kill him and you move on. Okay, it's not really that easy. The controls are a pain in the ass and fighting's a pain in the ass. Alright, the biggest thing is the controls feel slightly delayed in your attacks. You have 2 attacks, one for the regular sword you carry around everywhere and another one for any weapon you pick up. This varies from daggers to guns, actually. I can only assume it would be a flintlock, but it doesn't reload like one. You like pew 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 really fast when you use it. The movement controls, however, are terrible. I'll go over them later in this, but they are terrible. After that, you get the one level that isn't just running around killing people. In this level, you're in a minecart and you have to navigate through the place without crashing. You can run over everybody you see but one guy. This guy you usually kill normally, but for some reason they decided when you're in a minecart, even though you can run over everybody else, you can't run over him. Doing this just makes no sense to me, but whatever. Besides dodging that one guy, you also have to dodge the rocks and the trees. It's really not too hard. After you get through that, you get another fighting level. This level has a little bit of story to it as well. You're going to a dirty town filled with rude people because Morgan's uncle has a tavern here and he might be able to know where the treasure is or something. After you kill a bunch of people, you get to a door that doesn't open and it's actually a dead end. In reality, the background is part of the area you can walk in, but some of them make sense, like some of them are doors. However, some of them just look like little alleys, and you wouldn't know that those are walkways until you run into everything and trying to figure out where you go. The only way you need to go is to go through the walkway, so you don't even really have to fight anybody at the start of the level, you just walk right into that walkway. Now here's the fun part, every time you leave or re-enter an area, all of the enemies respawn once again, you have to kill them to move on. After that, you gotta go into like a barn or some shit. I guess it's his tavern, but it looks like a fucking barn. And when you get to the end of the barn, you fight this guy who's like a rival pirate. Well, you don't fight him directly, you fight 2 minions of his. After that, you get a new level where it changes up a little bit. You're on top of a carriage, and if you fall off, you die instantly. Other than that, though, you just fight everybody and kill them like normal, and there are these poles you have to dodge. They're deceiving, though, because most of the time you think, okay, jump over the pole. Once in a while, they have one where it's like, if you jump, well, fuck you, you lose. And there are also cannonballs coming from who knows where. I mean, you're riding on a carriage. Does that mean there's just a cannon carriage riding right next to you that's shooting cannonballs at you or something? It makes no sense where these cannonballs are coming from. And they really have a huge blast radius. Like, you have to be way away to not get hit from them. And you meet that guy you fought in the first level again, except this time you actually kill him. Last time you just killed him. Wait, what? Yeah, it looked like he got killed the first time, but he didn't, actually. He's still alive until you kill him here, which I think he's finally dead. You never see him again in the game, at least. After that, you go on your boat, and you're going to the island that has the treasure. However, your first mate, Scully, makes everybody go against you, and you have to fight him. Even if you kill them all without getting hurt, you lose the fight, supposedly, and you get kicked off the boat. After you're thrown off the boat, you end up on the island level. Now this is a pain in the ass if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like me on this first try. Actually, there's an area above you can walk on and you have to like jump from tree to tree and bridge to bridge and shit. But if you don't do that, there is this quicksand that'll hurt you very bad. And you have to just really fast tap all the buttons basically, or just jump. I don't know, I always tapped all the buttons just to be safe. But you have to just tap the buttons so you don't get stuck in the dirt and die. Because the second you touch it, you start getting hurt, and it is literally taking up at least 50% of this level. They also added a little bit of kind of a maze element to it with all these caves you could go through, but I never really went through too many caves. It was like I would go through 1 or 2 and I'd eventually find the exit. It wasn't too difficult. Then you go to a level with a cliff where you have to just slowly traverse down as you kill people. When you finally get to the bottom, there's a door you go through and now you're in the caves. In the caves, they introduce the most annoying enemy you will ever see in this game. The fucking bats. You can't hurt them. You can outrun them and get them to go off of the screen. But the bats cannot be hurt, as I said. They fly at you and try to hurt you every few seconds, so you really can't avoid them. You can't block them, but it's a pain in the ass. And when you get to levels where there's like ledges and stuff, if they fly at you, they can push you off of the ledge and make you die. They are easily the most annoying enemy there is in this game. Anyhow, after you get through most of the cave, you get to this one area that's really just a jumping puzzle. Now, if you're an idiot like me and didn't realize you can't run up until this point, you'll find this crazy method where you can jump, get hurt, and you don't take fall damage. However, the right way to do it is you run and then jump. Now, let me explain these controls a little bit, because they're not quite what you would think would be the right controls. First off, to give you an idea of why these controls might have made sense at one time, this was originally a Genesis game. Then it was ported to the SNES. Now, if you don't remember the difference between a Genesis controller and the SNES controller, the Genesis had two types of controllers. One had 3 buttons, the other had 6 buttons. In my experience, a lot of games were made for the 3-button controller because they were more common than the 6-button controller. At least they are nowadays when you want to try to find them. So, obviously they're going to have more buttons on the SNES so they could change it up and make it more playable, right? Hell no. Just fucking port that shit and release it as fast as possible. So the biggest thing you notice though is the running. If you want to run, you don't hold the button down, you double tap the arrow that goes in the direction you're going. You don't really notice this if you don't have the manual. That's besides the point. I couldn't find the manual for this game when I got the cartridge. I could only get the cartridge. But that's besides the point. If you don't have the manual for it, you don't know how to run. And if you don't know how to run, you don't know that running makes you jump farther and run, obviously. So, bad controls, like, just overall, because it feels like the SNES buttons are used wrong. Like, it feels like they could have easily been moved around a little bit so that they have a button you actually use to run, because the SNES controller is more accessible to the buttons than a Genesis controller. I mean, they didn't even use the L and R buttons for some reason. They decided, oh, we don't need those buttons. They're useless. Anyhow, again, that jump is just a pain in the ass if you don't know that you can do that, because I actually played this game like 2 times through, getting to that point and failing because I couldn't fucking do that jump. And then there's this other area to this level that looks really glitchy. I mean, I can't really even explain what's going on. It's just a disaster down here. It's like if you go to the bottom of the level, which is actually part of the level, there's no flooring to the areas. You just kind of imagine the flooring being there, but it doesn't make sense. Like the doorways, you see them, and then there's an imaginary flooring right below them, but you can't see the flooring, so you just kind of have to assume the position of it. Luckily, I never fell through it, but there were gaps. I know, because on the second playthrough, which I'll explain why I had to do that later, I did fall through it. Anyhow, after you get through that, you go through some more caves, and you finally get to the end of the level, where you find the treasure at last. But wait, what's this? The screen's shaking, because you gotta get out of there. It's that rival guy you fought a while ago, and he takes your treasure, which really sucks ass. So even though most of the time it seemed like you were going down inside of the mountain, you end up on the cliffs again, near the top, because that makes sense, right? No, it doesn't actually, it doesn't. So basically you're doing the same thing when you have to get to the bottom. However, this one doesn't have a door, and I learned that the accidental way. If you fall off a hole in the middle of it at least, that wins the game. So whenever I tried to play this again, I just fell through that same damn hole. I don't know if there's an actual doorway or not, but if you find the hole and fall through it, you win the level. Then you fight your rival again, except he managed to train a fucking cheetah to fight by his side. I mean, if you're gonna have a cheetah that's vicious enough to fight and not have it attack you when it's right next to you, that is fucking amazing. Anyhow, you only have to kill him, but killing the cheetah does help kill him because the cheetah gets out the way. But you kill him and he runs off actually this time. He doesn't die, but you take away his health and he runs away. Oh, he runs away onto his ship and you chase him onto it. And of course you go after him and kill him, and what a miserable final boss he is. I mean, I killed him just running at him and slicing at him, and he never got one shot off on me, really. Then you see the ending animation where it says, you get the treasure, but the other person might steal it. Oh no. Now the credits roll real quick, and after that, there is a thing that says you really didn't win. Because you didn't collect all the fucking chests you didn't know about because you don't have the goddamn manual. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll go through the whole game again, making sure I find every chest. It wasn't that easy, but I found them all, collected it all, got the chest, got to the end of the game, and then It made that whole half hour I spent doing this feel entirely fucking pointless. So what happens when you actually complete the game with the chests? You get, hooray, you got the chest. Now, if you want the prize, yeah, there's a prize, a real physical prize. Time travel back to 1995 or 96. And then play this game again, looking out for these 3 questions we're going to ask you, like how many barrels are in this level, and fill out the card that came with your game and your manual, which I don't have, and send it to us for a chance to win the prize. Actually, it wasn't even a full you get a prize, it's a chance to win the prize. I wasted a half hour on that. A fucking half hour on that. Just to be told it's too late, actually, to submit. And you get nothing even though you actually collected the chests. You collected all the chests after being told you lose, and then you're told it's not over, but you can't continue even if you did it perfect. Fuck you. Fuck you, Cutthroat Island. That is motherfucking bullshit. I did all that work. I should send that shit right now, and I should get a fucking prize.